Assalamu alaikum dear students. We are in second lecture of week 6 and we were talking about point coordinates, direction coordinates, and now we will study how to draw plane coordinates. But before doing this, we will study for a different cubic system, for a different crystalline structure. We were just talking about cubic crystalline structures until now to draw their point and direction coordinates. But we have other crystal systems as well, which are not exactly cubic. So how to draw, for example, point and direction coordinates or plane coordinates for these crystal structures. Okay, we start by learning about drawing position coordinates, direction coordinates in hexagonal planes. Okay, there is a procedure or there are that you can use the formulas that have been derived to use to convert coordinates from 3-index system to 4-index system, that is for hexagonal planes. Conversion of this 3-index system, for example, it is u, v and w coordinates, direction coordinates in 3-index system, and you need to convert these in 4-index system or hexagonal planes. That is done by using the formulas given in 3.11a, 11b, 11c and 3.11d respectively. You see the fourth coordinate, the z coordinate, is just similar to the earlier w coordinate in 3-index system, but you determine u and v coordinates are first two coordinates that are in the hexagonal base or bottom, and then you determine the third coordinate with respect to the sum of the two first coordinates. These are given here in this slide, that u is 1 by 3 2 of u minus v, and v is 1 by 3 2 of v minus u, and t the additional coordinate hexagonal system, that is minus of u plus v, and of course the z vector or the w is similar to w in 3 coordinate system. But what if we have to determine these coordinates directly from hexagonal crystal structure? You have been determined these direction coordinates with respect to, with the help of vectors taking their initial positions along x, y and z axis and taking their final positions along x, y and z axis if all the three axes are involved, and then you subtract from heads the tail coordinates are the end point minus starting point, and then you reduce it to integers to get to the direction coordinates for cubic systems. This is similarly applied in hexagonal crystal structures, where you have hexagonal symmetry in crystalline structure, that you just use this analogy, that you take a direction coordinates. For example, here in the bottom you can see that you have divided this bottom into equivalent units further, and this procedure is called ruled net coordinate axis system for hexagonal unit cell, that is shown in figure 3.10 on right side of your slide, and you draw crystallographic directions as with the help of this ruled net coordinate axis system. Here again you find three axes, that are A1, A2 and A3, and they are at equivalent angle, because these are three axes, so you have 120 degrees of angle in between each of them. They are not mutually perpendicular in this case. Okay, and then you have the z coordinate that is perpendicular along vertical axis, and you again divide that coordinate into three equivalent positions. And to draw the direction coordinates, you again take a vector that points along one of these axis directions, a1, a2, a3, and then you determine the length as per the length of the vector, and you subtract tail coordinates from the head coordinates, just like you were doing in the previous case, in case of cubic crystals, that you draw a vector from starting point or the axis, and then you finish at until the location of that end vector, the head, and then you subtract and reduce to the lowest integer. Similarly here in hexagonal system structure, you determine direction indices for hexagonal system with the help of head minus tail coordinates using the relations that are given in 3.12a, 3.12b, 3.12c, and 3.12d. Again, n will be the factor that is used to reduce it to lowest integer values. Okay, we move on to the next, where we need to determine crystallographic plane coordinates. If we are given a plane in a crystal structure, and we need to determine the coordinates for these planes. If for example we just need to repeat for this directions in hexagonal planes, I just repeat, and you please try to understand. And if you have any confusion, we of course will be talking about this in our live session. The direction indices for hexagonal systems you determine following the similar procedures, that is by subtraction of vector tail point coordinates from head point coordinates, as per the formulas given in 3.12a to 3.12t. And this for four coordinate axes, as is shown in figure 3.10, we use head and tail coordinates as shown, and find u, v, t, and w, that are hexagonal directional coordinates used for hexagonal systems, using the same relations that we talked about earlier, that 3.12a to 3.12d, and then you need to of course reduce to integer values and put them in square brackets. Okay, we move on to the next, and here we determine coordinates for crystallographic planes. Okay, these orientations for crystallographic planes in crystalline structures are represented by three, that is called Miller indices, or h, k, and l. As you can see, you put these integers in parentheses, and you don't make any spacing or put commas in between. For the planes that are parallel to each other are equal, and they have same indices, just like we talked about directions that which have the same atoms involved, and they are covering same positions. Those directions are called equivalent directions. Here again, if the planes are parallel to each other, so they will have same indices. Procedure, the standard procedure used to determine plane coordinates, again is reproduced here from your textbook. You can read these steps by yourself and then we can discuss if you have any confusion. Anyways, the orientations of planes for a crystal structure are represented in a similar manner. Unit cell again is the basis, and crystallographic planes are specified, as we talked earlier, by three Miller indices called HK and L. Of course, some numeric values will take place of these HKL. Any two planes that are parallel to each other are equivalent, just like we talked about directions, and so they will have identical indices. Indices are determined as per the procedure given. Deriving indices for planes, however, you need to keep in mind that no plane can pass through chosen origin. Okay, for point coordinates, for direction coordinates, you actually started from origin. Origin are the 0, 0, 0 is your reference point, but here you have to keep this in mind, then that to derive indices for planes you have to make sure that no plane passes through the origin. If a plane passes through the origin, what you will do? Okay, we have talked earlier that planes that are parallel to each other, they have the same indices. So if the plane is passing through the origin, you will take it to a position that again is parallel to the original plane, and you then determine with respect to the reference or the center the coordinates or indices for this plane, and these again are the same because planes are parallel. Just like you see on the right side of your slide, there is a plane, and you take the, the axis similarly as we have taken for point or direction coordinates x, y, z, and their center point or origin is 0, are shown by 0, where the coordinates are 0, 0, 0. Now your plane is passing through the 0, through origin on the upper side, upper in the upper figure, in the right corner upper figure, you will see your plane just passes through origin 0, and we have this condition that if the plane is passing through the origin, you need to take this plane to another location that is parallel to the original location, but then it is not passing through the origin, whatever origin you have chosen. Okay, you can, of course, alternatively you can move the origin upside, but most routinely in routine we move the plane to another location, but you can of course interchange plane or the axis. If you move the this origin upside on the upper corner, just like near to the z, here the vector z is shown. Okay, again then you can determine the indices for this plane, and these will be the same or more. In routine we move plane to another location that is parallel or to the original location, and then it just avoids passing through the origin. You can see here in the figure on the right side that in the upper figure you can see the plane that in the greenish shade, and that passes through the origin 0. Now one is possibility that is routinely done, that you move the plane to the upper location, upper edge, the upper face of the cube, and then this plane has been shifted from the origin and it no more passes through the origin, and now you can determine the coordinates of the plane with respect to the origin. Coordinates means the planes that cuts along the direction, the axis, the points at which it cuts along the axis, along y-axis and z-axis. Or you can keep the plane here and you move the origin from the lower side to the upper side. Again the indices will be the same, as we have already said that the planes that are parallel to each other, they have the same indices. Okay, one more point that you need to keep in mind is this, that if a plane is parallel to an axis, that along that axis the plane is considered to have an infinite intercept or coordinate, and therefore its final coordinate will return you, yeah, its indices will return you 0, because in drawing plane coordinates, when you have drawn those integral values, you need to invert or reciprocate these coordinates. For point coordinates, they are simple locations. For direction coordinates, again, these are coordinates obtained by subtracting head tails from heads and reducing them to lowest integer values and keeping them in square brackets. For planes, however, when you have drawn these coordinates, you need to invert those coordinates and then reduce them to the lowest integer values and put these indices or coordinates into smaller brackets, parentheses, that you have shown here without any spacing, of course. There is one additional point in drawing plane coordinates, that you need to invert those coordinates and then reduce them to the lowest integer values. So I was talking about this, that if a plane is parallel to an axis, that this will have an infinite intercept or infinite coordinate, and when you invert this, for example, it's infinity, and you put it 1 over infinity, the resultant is 0. So you will have a 0 index, a 0 coordinate for that direction of the plane. For example, if you look at the plane shown here in this figure, you take 0 as the axis center and you move along z-axis, you see that this plane intercepts z-axis from origin at 1 cube edge length. So it is 1 for z-axis. Now look for x and y. This plane does not cut x-axis, does not cut y-axis. It actually is parallel along x-axis and y-axis. You keep on extending the plane, it keeps on extending in parallel to the y-axis and in parallel to the z-axis with respect to the chosen origin, of course. So the coordinates for this plane will be first infinity along x-axis, infinity along y-axis, and 1 along z-axis. Now you need to invert 1 over infinity, 1 over infinity, and 1 over 1. Then you reduce them. 1 over infinity is 0 along x-axis, 0 along y-axis, and 1 over 1, 1 along z-axis. Now you need to reduce them to lowest integers. These are already reduced. So you will have, for this particular plane shown in the figure along the right side, the coordinates of 0, 0, and 1. This is how you determine plane coordinates. If we move on to the next, how you determine plane coordinates, yeah, indices, sorry, plane indices in case of hexagonal systems. Again, there is a system called Miller-Brevard system that is used to determine 4 index plane coordinates or indices in case of hexagonal systems. Here again, you have a extra coordinate that is shown by I, and that is determined with the help of summing h and k coordinates that you are determined, that you have determined for cubic systems, cubic planes, sorry, cubic systems, cubic coordinate crystallographic systems. The other two, h, k, and l, are similar in three in both indexer systems, only as the I, that is the extra coordinate or indices in this hexagonal plane. So you determine with respect to the with help of relation 3.15, this extra I plane coordinate for crystallographic hexagonal crystallographic plane systems with respect to this Miller-Brevers system of four index indices or four coordinates. The rest three are the same. There are some coordinates given on this figure. Please try to follow these coordinates with the help of earlier shown coordinates or directions that we learned in the previous lecture, and then we will discuss these in our live sessions. On the next, you are given two actually uh, crystal systems. Here you have directions shown and planes drawn. Can you determine these coordinates for these directions and planes? Please try for yourself, and then we will look at the direction and plane coordinates when we meet in live sessions. Okay, for now, Assalamu alaikum, Allah Hafiz.